As I mentioned, we're going to start on the ground. Just find a nice comfortable position. I like to lie on my back, but if you have a preference to just take a moment on your side, whatever works for you at this time. And then once we've made our way onto our mats, we just take a moment maybe to close our eyes. Just notice how the body's feeling this morning. Sometimes when you get up in the morning, you have a little bit of stiffness. Sometimes you feel fantastic. It's amazing how every single day your body is going to be completely different. And so in our practices, we always have to honor the body that's on our mat right now at this present moment and not worry about what we might have done last week or what we did even yesterday or maybe what we even did a couple hours ago, because the body is forever adapting and changing. And our minds tend to want to stay stuck. They tend to like to have the same routine, and they don't tend to want to accept change as willingly. And so we just got to remember to be a little bit more adaptable, and when we're on our mats, really give yourself a chance to focus in on your body. So now that we've taken a nice comfortable position and we're starting to let go a lot of our judgments about our bodies, maybe some expectations we have about our bodies, just want you to feel how you're connected to the mat. My hands happen to be face down, but I'm going to flip them up just to see if that transition feels better for me, because a lot of the times we just go into one position, we don't think about it. So maybe flip your hands up, maybe keep your knees bent, or lengthen them out, and if they're lengthened out, maybe bend them. Just see how each of these movements feel. Just notice how your body reacts. Maybe you notice your backs or your shoulders start to feel a little different depending on whether you're bending your knees or having your hands supinated or pronated. And maybe think about your face and all of the expressions and all the muscles that your face can do. Maybe just start to let them go. Again, we are first expressive with our faces well before language comes in. So we're just going to try and relax those muscles. We're aware of our shoulders, we're aware of our backs. We're starting to let the lips part. And then I just want us to take a great big deep breath in, as much as you can get into your lungs. Big inhale. And then slowly see if you can release it. Now the first few ones is just going to be a moment to see how the nose reacts. Maybe you need to breathe through the mouth depending on allergies or any other things that are going on in the nose today. But deep breaths, just trying to get all the air into the lungs, really expand through the rib cage. And then exhale, let it go, and just feel a little bit more relaxation. Now again, this time is just to start to notice our breath. Notice if we have any restrictions today. Notice if we are feeling invigorated, or maybe today is the day that we're feeling a little sluggish. Again, we're just noticing. It's all about becoming one with your body and your mind. One more nice deep breath in. And then slowly let the air escape. If we have our legs outstretched, go ahead and bend them. So just bring them to a nice little bend here, and we're on our backs because we're just going to do a little rock side to side. So we can take those elbows, maybe bend them so that they look more like cactus arms. And then drop your knees to one side. Again, this is something really nice to do when we wake up in the morning, especially in bed if we're just starting to loosen up our backs. Just a little rock side to side. Just noticing how those hips feel. And then once we've done a little rock side to side, we're going to go ahead and pull your right knee into your chest. So just pull that right knee into the chest. And then once that right knee is pulled in, you can do some ankle rotations here. And again, that joint's so important for balance, so important for walking. We wear shoes a lot, and the nice thing about the shoes is they absolutely protect your feet, rotate the other way. But sometimes we have a little lift on those shoes, and that causes our ankles to shorten. I won't go too much into talking about shoes today, but shoes, depending on what you wear and the lift you have on the heel, can definitely change how you move your ankle. Once we've done that, let's go ahead and reach our hands behind our knee and lengthen out the leg, so we're now got some length in that leg. And once you've done that, I just want you to take a nice deep breath in Exhale, maybe you're starting to feel the blood draining from the feet. Again, we'll go back to this kind of work at the very end, but right now we're just letting the blood pool from the feet, especially if we've done any walking this morning or standing this morning. We just want to let that blood pool. And then go ahead and bend the knee, let that foot come back to the floor, take those hands as cactus arms, and just do a little gentle rock side to side. Maybe as you put that foot down, you're going to notice that the blood is starting to come back into the foot. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Pull the other knee into the chest. Just hold on to that knee. A little bit of the hip flexor goes depending on how much you pull in. And then rotate that ankle in one direction. Try and draw with your big toe. Sometimes that gives you a little bit bigger range of motion if you're trying to imagine that big toe circling around. And we're also trying to relax those shoulders and the jaw. Then we circle the toe the other way. Just notice how these ankles feel. Maybe one has a little bit more range of motion than the other. Maybe we've had an injury to an ankle or we've rolled an ankle recently. Again, these are all just things we're noticing. We're not judging them. Our body's amazing at healing and compensating. So we're just making sure that we don't have too much overcompensation and that we pull our bodies back to where they should be after something like an injury or maybe some stiffness. Take that leg up, hold behind the knee, and just let it stretch out. Just letting the blood pool, maybe getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. No need to have that knee completely straight, but if it happens, it's all good. Again, relax the shoulders, take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then once we've done that, we're going to allow that knee to bend, place the foot on the floor. We're going to locate our strap or our blanket or our towel. If you have the strap, I want you to put it right on the balls of the feet. Okay, so if you can see my side view, I'm not on the arch of my feet, but I'm actually on the balls of my feet. You can do the same thing with a towel. Just roll up that towel a little bit more, just depending on what you have. And same thing mostly on the balls of the feet, okay? So the reason it's on the balls of the feet is that way you're gonna get a lot more dorsiflexion in that ankle. So we did a couple of rotations here, but once it's on the ankle, you're gonna be able to pull with both of those hands, pull the toes towards your face and send your ankle up into the sky. And again, you can have your knee slightly bent, but then it's like, if you can picture the pedals of a car, you're gonna press up with the toes onto the balls of the feet, and then you're gonna pull the balls of the feet or the toes towards you. So it's a dorsiflexion at the ankle, and you've got some weight on it because you're able to pull on the strap or the towel. So we're just going up, pressing, and that is going to shorten the calf. And then when you pull the toes towards you, you're going to lengthen that calf and get that calf stretch, dorsiflexion through the Achilles tendon and into the plantar surface of the foot. So let's just do that a couple of times. Just getting that ankle a little bit warmer, pulling and releasing. And then once we've pulled and released a couple of times, put the handles into the opposite hand. So my foot, I've got my right foot in the sky, I've got my left hand wrapping around, and I've got a dorsiflexion. So I've got my toes pointed towards my face. The other hand, place it down on the floor for your support here. And what I want us to do is press into the foot that you've got on the floor and flex the ankle, dorsiflex, and then circle a little bit around and then point the toe as you come up. So we're drawing a circle, we're working a little bit into these hips, but we're also using the toe to pull in when you come towards your face and point away when you come up. Stability comes with the other hand, and we're just starting to get a little bit more work in that calf and doing some circles with the ankle and a little bit into the hip. So I'm gonna come and take a look and see how everyone's doing here. Nice. Good. So remember to move that ankle around, so you're pressing and then circling around and then flexing, pointing. So it's two parts that are moving. It's your ankle and your hip. All right, so now that we've done that one way, see if you can just change the direction and just see if it feels a little different in the other direction. So again, on the balls of the feet, make adjustments where you need to, and then draw the circles the other way. So instead, I'm pointing my toe, I'm circling around and pulling to me. Now, the bigger you go with the circles, the more you're gonna have to let the strap out. And you can let that strap out if the hip allows it, but we're just trying to push and pull on the balls of the feet, starting to feel the hip open up. Then once we've done that a few times, and it doesn't have to be fast, and we're going to change to the other side. So again, the nice thing about working with a towel or a strap is that you get a little bit of resistance, something that we normally don't get if we're just doing flexion and extension of the ankle without the strap. All right, so go ahead and wrap up on the other side, let the foot come high, little micro bend, and again, both hands are on the strap. So we're on the other foot, both hands are on the strap, and you've got a lot of pull down. So the only thing that's really working is your hands pulling down. Dorsiflex toes towards your feet, stretch out the calf, feel the Achilles start to lengthen, and then push away. Now the hand shouldn't be sliding up and down on the strap, but more that you're pressing the foot into the strap and your shoulders might lift off a little bit. Head is relaxed, upper body is relaxed, it's just the push and the pull that you're feeling. And again, knee bend, totally fine. You're just pressing against the balls of the feet. And if we like this feeling and we're getting a lot out of this one and we just notice that maybe there's a little bit of stiffness here, you can stay here a little bit longer. Or we can go ahead and come into the bigger circles by putting both of the straps into the opposite hand. So mine happens to be left leg, right hand now. Left hand is down on my mat. Dorsiflex, pull towards you, point the toes away from you, and circle. Now the lower you bring your hand or the more room you give on the strap means the more circle you can do with your hip. And again, right now I really want you to focus on ankle mobility. The hip is just the add-on to give you a little bit more range of motion when you're pushing that foot away and pulling it back in. We'll do a couple more circles on this one and then change the direction. So the direction will be pointing the toe away from you and then flexing the heel to come back towards your face. Point the toe away and then flex to come back. Point the toe away, flex to come back. This is a great exercise to do if you've done a lot of walking or standing. All it's doing is allowing you to give resistance to the ankle. I shouldn't say all you're doing a lot. And then you're also getting the blood to pull back, and you're also getting a nice little stretch in the hamstring and the calf. All right, let's release that strap now. Put the feet down. And again, just do a little side to side with those knees, making sure that those feet get the blood back in it. And then once we've rocked a couple times side to side, go ahead and roll all the way over onto your side and make your way up into a tabletop position. I like to have 2 blocks for this next one. And a little cushion for your knees if you're not on a softer surface. I like to have a towel around again. I'm on hardwood, so the mats are a little bit not as cushiony as if I was on a carpet, so you might want to just take a little mat and double up the mat or put yourself onto some blankets and then have your blocks in front of you if you need them, okay? So, something to that effect. Tuck the toes in behind. You're holding on to these ones. And you've got the toes tucked. And all I want us to do is push our bums back and press the toes into the floor. Now some of us are fine with being on our wrists and that, but you're up a little bit higher, and the higher you are, the more it's a press back into those feet as you sit down, and then you pop back up again. So press down into those feet and come back down again. So it's a little bit more than what we were doing before, because now we're getting that real plantar stretch here. Toes are curled under. Think about the shoes that we wear. Our toes are usually not pulled up. So we're just pressing back. Depending on what height you want, you can press down and drop your chest down a little bit more. So it looks a little bit more like this. We're just pressing down. And I really want us to stretch out. You can be a little bit higher. Try them all, the different versions, and if you don't have any blocks or you don't want to use the blocks, hands on the floor, just fine. Okay. Now here's where we're going to start to get a little bit more. So your hands are on your blocks, either a little higher, maybe not using them, but I want you to keep the toes tucked, and I want you to push back and see if you can lift your right knee up. okay? Just lift that right knee up. Can you see what I'm doing here? A little bit on the side here. So toes are tucked, leaning back as much as I can to sit down, and then trying to lift the knee up. And then take it out to the side. Bring it in and put it down, okay? So, same leg, right knee, lift up, swivel out to the side, bring it in and put it down. Lift your knee up, swivel out to the side, in and down. One more time, lift, a little out to the side, in and down. We're gonna try it on the other one. So again, I'm gonna have the blocks really wide so you can see my knee. I'm lifting up and I'm pressing on the back toes there. I'm swiveling out to the side. I'm bringing it in and then I'm putting it down. So up, out to the side, in and down. We'll do 2 more of these. Inhale up, exhale out to the side, in and down. Last one, up, out to the side, in and down. All right, let's release the feet for a second. So just release them, give them a little tap out. Just give them a little shaky, shaky. Then we're gonna go into trying both, okay? If both is like, oh, no way, just do 1 and 1, all right? But if you can, we have our hands on the blocks on the floor. Tuck your toes. You're going to lift your knees, both your knees, separate, in, and come down, okay? So from that back view, you can see my toes are always down. Lift up the knees, separate, in, and come down. Up, separate, in, come down. One more time, up, separate, in, and come down. And then we can shake it out. All right, how did we do with that? How are we feeling with these ankles? Yeah? Okay. Now, there is one last thing that we can do with this one, and we're already gonna start our first balance. And again, if you're feeling like the toes need a little bit of a break, a little bit of a moment, feel free to sit this one out if you wanna give yourself that little bit of challenge. You're gonna hold on to your blocks. I'm on the high level. I'm tucked my toes. And I'm gonna come in and go out to the sides, and my heels are touching. And if we're able to walk those in a little bit more, with the heels touching, we should have some support, but it's a lot of work for the toes and the ankle flexion. And then if we really want to try, we try and lift off and try and balance. We can bring our hands to heart center and just try and balance up on these toes. For 4, 3, 2, 1, hands down, walk it out, and release. Whew, have a seat on your bum. How do we do with that one? It's a lot of work, bit of a balance. And let's have our seat. I'll take a sip of water. Feel free to grab some water. All right. Take a comfortable seat. You might want to sit on a block. If you find that those hips are still a little tight, although we did start to do some work on the hips, you can sit on the block like myself. Let those knees fall forward. It lifts up the chest. The shoulders are up, back, and down. We're just going to take a nice deep breath in. We're going to exhale down. So we're just going to leave those feet alone for a while. Might feel still a little tingly from all the work. And we're going to get into the shoulders. So inhale, looking all the way up. And exhaling, coming back down. 2 more times, a big inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, floating back down. 1 more time, a big inhale, all the way up. And an exhale, back down. This time, take those hands all the way up. Take the right hand, just twist it somewhere over to the left leg, looking over the shoulder. And then inhale up, so we're getting into this thoracic twist. And then exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, twist, look over that shoulder. So we're getting even cervical spine to twist. Inhale, and exhale, twist the other way. We'll do that 1 more time each side. Big inhale, looking up. And then exhale, look over the shoulder. 2 movements we don't do a lot of. We don't tend to look over our shoulders, and we often don't look up at the sky. And then exhale to twist. All right, inhale all the way up and bring your fingertips to your temple so that you've got your elbows out nice and wide. Okay? And we're going to take that right elbow and we're just going to tip over and lift the left one to the sky. So you're starting to get that nice big side bend. And then inhale, come up. And then exhale the other way. Now, things that tighten up over the night is probably your rib cage. We tend to breathe shallow when we sleep. We're not usually into big, deep breaths. So we just tend to breathe in the upper part of our lungs. So we want to make sure that we stretch out these sides so that we can get the full capacity of those lungs. So big inhale, reach that elbow into the sky, coming back, and then reach the other one into the sky, and coming back. If you feel coordinated today, let your right hand drop and the left one go over your head, and then bring them back to your temple. And then let the left hand drop and the right one goes up, and bring it back to your temple. See if reaching your hands away from your body and each other makes that stretch a little bit deeper, working the shoulders, and then stretch as if those hands want to be as far away from each other as possible. We can also look down at the mat to stretch the neck muscles. Bring it back in, and then inhale, stretch, and bring it back in. Let's take the elbows and come forward. So now we're rounding that spine. It's like a seated cat. And then with the fingertips to the temple, open up the elbows and look to the ceiling. Exhale, coming forward, just round the spine. And then inhale, open the chest, pull the elbows behind you and look as high into the sky so you're getting a nice little back bend. 2 more times. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, lift it up. 1 more time. Exhale, diving forward. And inhale, up. All right, let's release those hands down to our knees. You might have felt a little bit of warmth in those shoulders. Just give them a little bit of shake out here. We're going to put it all together. So we're using now the core as that circulation. We did it with the ankle, and then now we're going to start with the core using the rotation from your abdominals, the side obliques, and your back. Inhale your hands all the way up. Take your fingertips and place them on your temple. Okay? We're going to dive over to the right side. We're going to bring the elbows together, dive into the belly button. Open up to the left side, and then lean back. Okay? So we're going to exhale right, bring the elbows together. Inhale left, open up. Exhale, dive down the right. Inhale, open up. If you want more on this one side, inhale, open the hands, bring them behind as you dive down. So we're opening the hands on the left side, open up, then bring them together, elbows on together on the right. 1 more time, open up on the left, big scoop, and then exhale down. We're going to go on the other side. So we're down in our cat position, elbows are together, and we're going to start going up onto the right side. So go up the right side, open up, and then elbows together down on the left. Maybe doing this circulation is a little different, and then coming down on the left. I'm just opening and closing the elbows. But if you want to add that bigger stretch, again, when you go down, you close the elbows. And this time when you come up, reach up and then touch your head. So separate those hands, reach over, and then exhale, come down. 2 more. You don't have to open up those hands. It's just a bigger stretch. It's more manipulation in the shoulder girdle. Inhale, big reach. Exhale, and then stack the vertebrae up, head stacks. Maybe we just drop our ear to our shoulder. Maybe you close your eyes. I have my right ear to my right shoulder. Give those shoulders a little shimmy and let them fall. Take a couple of breaths. Did a lot of work for breathing into that rib cage. And then go ahead and take it to the other side. So hopefully we've loosened up the core, the shoulders, and a little bit of the neck. We got a little bit into those hips and definitely into those ankles. Bring your head back to the center. If you're on a block, go ahead and release it now. Let's come into our first downward facing dog. Everyone good? All right. So coming into downward facing dog. Actually, before we go into downward facing dog, let's work on these wrists. So let's talk about the mobility of the wrists. You're on your knees here. I'm going to spread our fingertips nice and wide. And once you've got your fingertips spread nice and wide, you're going to keep the crease of the hands, the balls, the points of the balls of the hands right here. Keep those on the floor and just lift up so that we're doing basically the same thing that we did with our feet, but we're doing it with now our wrists. So you're just popping up slightly, coming up, stretching out the fingers from the side view. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, rise up onto those fingertips, and then come down. If you want to use the blocks, you can do the blocks as well, just in case you find that coming down that far is not for you today. You can use the blocks, and they're a little bit softer than my hardwood floor. And again, that's just an option for you there. Now, I want you to turn your hands out slightly on the diagonal. With the blocks, you can see what I'm doing really well. And then just turn your hands out slightly on the diagonal and do the same thing and come back down. So it's about a 45-degree angle. Come back down, do this a couple of more times, working those wrists. Come back down, one more up, and come back down. Turn it out a little further, so maybe they are exactly out to the side. If they don't get quite that far, I'm not worried about it, but hopefully you can see me using the blocks that my hands are actually turned out, and I can come up and come down, up and come down. 2 more times, up and come down. Last one, up and come down. And then of course, you can turn your hands all the way rotated around. This one I find the most challenging to do. And then you're gonna lift up, and it doesn't have to be big. And then come back down. This is really working those wrists. Lift up and come down. Press up and come down. One more time, up and come down, and then we can release those hands. Go ahead and rotate them a couple times. That should feel just about as good as what we did with the ankles. Give them a little shake out. If you want, you can take your fingers, point them down, and just put your hand on top of your palm or on top of the back of your hand and press just to get it to go downwards. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. And then give it a little shake out. Okay. Now we're ready for the downward facing dog, where we can either use our blocks to grip onto, or we can come onto those hands. We're not going to be here for very long, but those wrists and those ankles are now ready for walking those dogs. So we're going to take our butts, send them up into the sky, let the head hang, and look between your knees. And once we've done that, this is where we start to grip the mat. There is a suction cup of your hand. The center of your hand should pop up, and all the points of the soft part of your hand should be down as you grip in with your fingertips. And then with your feet hip distance apart, we're going to be able to pedal out by dropping your right heel, bending your left knee, and then switching nice and slow. So again, getting into the mobility of these calves and ankles. Now, we're using these wrists. We have warmed them up. If you need to take an option to come down onto your forearms, that takes a lot of more pressure on the shoulders, but it will definitely take it out of the wrists. So if you want to come down onto the shoulders, that's more like a dolphin pose. But we're just pedaling out the feet right now. To get into the ankle, or to get into the hips, to add them all in, what I want you to do is see if you can drop your right knee across the body, and that'll drop your right hip, and then switch to the other side. So 1 and 2. So you're pivoting on your feet like we did earlier when we were down a little bit lower. So you're pivoting on the feet, just doing 1 and then the other. 1 more time. And we're going to slowly walk the feet towards our hands. And if we need a block to allow the floor to be a little bit closer to us, we can come into our forward fold here, holding onto the block. Totally fine to bend those knees and come right to the floor again, depending on your flexibility. We'll take a halfway hold. So inhale, halfway up, touch your shins, roll the shoulders back and give me a nice flat back. And then exhale, bend the knees and sink down to your block or the floor. Just give me a little ragdoll, just shake it out. Inhale, halfway hold, pull the shoulders away, flatten the back. And then exhale, forward fold down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, half. Exhale, relax. 1 more time, halfway hold. Exhale, forward fold. You can always use your legs to walk up your body if you feel the strain on your lower back, or we can just float up, rising those hands up to come into a strong mountain pose, letting those hands melt down, coming down with them by your side, taking your shoulders up, back, and down. In mountain pose, it's almost like you have something that is dripped onto your shoulders like honey or molasses and is dripping down and it's just coming right off the ends of your fingers. So it just feels like it's just pulling straight down from those arms. The shoulders stay back, feet are about hip distance apart. And we're gonna do our first lift off. So we brace our core, we take a big inhale, and we lift up onto those toes. Okay, it's a nice high little balance. Just try and hold as long as you can. If you wobble and need to step back down, it's okay. And then slowly come back down. Okay, take a big inhale, rise up. You are floating up, but something on your body is pulling you and melting you back down to the ground. And then lower the feet. We'll do it 2 more times. Big inhale, rising up, shoulders are relaxed, the hands are just draping, the feet are energized and working, come back down. Nice. 1 more time, a big inhale, lifting up. All right, once you've found your balance and you're on your toes, the most fun thing to do is close your eyes. Close your eyes and you're gonna lose your balance. So go ahead, give it a shot, lose your balance. That's exactly what I want you to do, okay? Because we always get into those dark rooms. We always have a point in our lives where the lights go out unexpectedly and we wanna be able to maintain our balance. So let's try it a couple of times. So roll the shoulders back and down. Take a deep breath in, rise up onto the balls of the feet, feel secure and comfortable, and then when you feel secure and comfortable, we're gonna try and close our eyes for a count of 5. So close for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release down. Oh, so tough with those eyes closed. All right, give those ankles a little bit of a shake out here. And I want you to take now your right foot forward, put your hands on your thighs and step your left foot back. Okay, so from the side view, both toes are faced forward and the ankle is lifted in the back. We were putting our weight on our femur, so it's a nice strong bone in your leg here. Roll your shoulders back. And what I want us to do is just lean forward, the knee can come towards the toes and your nose passes your toes as you lift up onto the balls of the feet. So you can see I'm just on the tip of my big toe and then I want us to roll back. Okay, so roll forward and then roll back. So this is nice and supported, big strong bone here. We're just rolling forward and back. We've got our core locked on and we're looking somewhere in front of us on the floor. Okay? If that feels good and you want a little bit more, go ahead and take your hands and start to reach them forward. And then when you press your heel back, float them back. So inhale, it's like you're lifting up, almost like you want to jump into the sky, but we're not there. And then we're going to push back. Option is hands on your thigh the whole time. Inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, reaching back. We'll do it 1 more, a nice lift up. I'm on the tippy toes of my back foot. And if it feels right, option 1, hold onto the thigh and see if you can just lift the toe up a little bit. Or if you have been floating back and forth and you can reach those hands out in front at shoulder and you want to try a little lift off, again, it might just be a little bit. Or you can start to lengthen up that little back leg, reach your hands forward, turn the hips so that they're on the floor. It's not about the height of the leg. Okay? It's not about getting that leg as high as you can. We're not doing dancer's pose. We're trying to keep the hips together in the same line, and we're just allowing ourselves to lift up that back foot. It's gonna work your butt like crazy, your hamstring of that standing leg, and your glute and the leg that's trying to lift. So if we can keep those hips straight, that's when we can come into that warrior three. Shake that out. Whew. Okay, how's that one butt cheek? Should be like pretty good. Okay, so if we put our feet hip distance apart, we put our hands on our hips, and we bend the left knee and send the right hip out. You should feel a stretch here, and then we're going to take it the other way. So bending the left knee, send the right hip out, and then lean to the right, send the left hip out. One more time, over to the one side, getting that nice little stretch, and then to the other side. Now soften both of your knees. We're not quite in a chair pose, but we've got a knee soft. We're holding on to our hips, and we're just tipping forward. We have our thumbs on our pelvis, and then we're just gonna lightly pull back. Okay, my elbows go with me. So thumbs on your pelvis, not on the floating ribs or anything. You want it on that pelvis, that nice sturdy bone, and then you're coming forward, tipping forward, and then you're pressing on that bone, pelvis bone, to come back and pulling your elbows back. Not unlike what we did when we were sitting. One more time, tipping forward, and then pull yourself back. All right, let's put it all together, okay? So we're going to bend the right knee, send the hip out to the left. Let both knees bend, come forward. Bend your left knee and send your right hip out, and then soften both knees and circle around, okay? So bend, both knees bent, one knee bent, both knees bent. Right knee bends, both knees bend, left knee bends, both knees bend. One more time, so you're just drawing these nice circles using your ankle, your knee, and your hip all together. Okay, give it a little shake out there. Now all 3 points have to work to do balance. So you have to have the ankle and the knee and the hip all working in a trifecta. If one of these tends to be injured, the compensation will go down the body, and it tends to, not always, but it tends to, if I've damaged my right hip, I compensate with my left leg. So I do a little bit more of this kind of movement. And then it will travel into that knee, and then to compensate it, I will start to do something like this. And so you start to see it go across. It happens the same way up the body as well, okay? So we wanna make sure that we have the same range of motion from ankle properly working, hip, knee, and ankle all together, okay? So I've given you a chance to shake it out, give that right butt cheek a chance to recuperate. We're gonna go on to the left butt cheek for balance. Your glutes have to be nice and strong as well as your core. Back is involved. Our backs are usually quite strong because we usually sit forward fold, so we have a lot of this. We don't have a lot of strength in the core. We tend to be a little bit weaker in the core, just because of our modern day society. So go ahead and take your hands, interlace them, place them on your upper thigh. You're on the other leg now, and then take a big step back. You want both of your feet facing forward. So you're stable on that big femur. Peek under and see if that toe is forward. If you have an ankle slightly turned out, that changes the knee, okay? So then the knee has to twerk, the ankle has to twerk in different ways. So we wanna make sure that both of those feet are facing forward. And once you've taken a peek there, then we're gonna lean forward, nose passes your toes, and you start to peel up onto the balls of the feet or the tip of the toe on that back foot. It's a nice long stride. So if you're here, I want you to step back even further. Okay, so it's gonna be wider than you feel like you want to be, and that's gonna give you a lot of work in that quad, in your glute min, and you're just coming forward and pressing that heel all the way back. Looking forward like you're peeking over the edge of a cliff that you sure don't want to fall over, but you're just peeking over because you're curious to see what's down on the other side, and then push back. Now, if you're good, you can go ahead and see if you want to release those hands. It doesn't have to be fully outstretched. The first few are adding extra weight because as you move forward and bring those hands forward, you're asking the quad and the glute to work a little bit harder with the weight of the body traveling forward and coming back, adding the breath in, big inhale, and exhale to come back. If you're ready for a lift off, go ahead, lift off. Again, hips square. We're not turning out to the side, it's not half moon. So we're trying to keep the toe and hip level to the floor as opposed to turning out. And again, if we need that stability, we can stay stable on that thigh. If you feel like you want to hold your warrior three, you can go ahead and reach out. Keep the hips stable. Pull the belly in. Squeeze your butt and reach your toe out the back by not turning the hip. Keep that hip turning down. And just hang on to it for a few more breaths. Huge work. Butt's on fire. And then release it out. I put my hand on my thigh, step it in, and wow. Good stuff on the butt. All right, we're gonna take it to a wide stance now, similar to what we did before, okay? So we've got our nice wide stance, fingertips on those hips. We're gonna tip like a teapot, that old song, I'm a little teapot. Okay, so we're gonna soften those knees, and we're gonna dive over to the left side, bend that left knee. And then come up, bend the right knee, knee tracks towards the second and third toes, so make sure those toes are turned out. Bring the knee towards the toes and just tip over from the side. And then come back up. So, bending, tipping, coming up, bending, tipping, coming up. So we got this nice wide stance now. So we can actually dive forward into a big wide chair. You got a lot more stability because the legs are open. It means you can hinge from the hip a lot more. And then press into all 4 points of the feet and then pull back. So we're going to dive forward with the exhale, nice and wide, and then inhale as much as you want to do a back bend. Keep the knee soft. Exhale one more time, diving forward, again working into those hips, and then inhale, coming back up. We're going to put it all together. So we're going to bend into that left knee. So bend into the left knee, dive. Bend both of your knees, come forward. Bend your right knee, and then bend, keep both soft, okay? So lean into the left, both knees soft as you come into a deep hip, open up to the right, and then look to the sky. 2 more times, bend, forward, bend, and up. Last one, bend, forward, bend, and up. Walk those feet in. Give a little shake here. Grab a little water if you need to. I always make sure everyone gets hydrated because, again, you get cramps when you start to work these little muscles, especially the way we're doing it, because these are stabilizer muscles. And stabilizer muscles, they're small and they require very, very tight movements to trigger balance, right? It's like a little tiny pull, and if the pull is off just a little bit, then you fall over. So these muscles will cramp very quickly. So grab water. I get this a lot when I teach my Pilates classes, cramping because we do small movements and a lot of pulses. That happens too. In yoga, we get it a little bit when we do classes like this. All right, so give it a little bit of a shake out here. Feet underneath the hips. Shoulders up, back and down. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale through heart center. Big inhale, rise those hands all the way up. Exhale, coming back down. One more time, big inhale all the way up. And exhale, bring it to heart center. Okay, so hold your hands at heart center. Roll the shoulders up and back down, and then just soften those knees, okay? Most of us is probably gonna be right leg dominant. Most of us are right-handed. If you're left dominant, you might find that the left side is gonna be a little bit easier to do this one. But instead of working the back leg this time, what I want you to do is lift the heel on the left, okay? So my left heel is lifted. And we're going to see if we can just do a couple of ankle rotations here. And then the other way. Then we're going to lift that toe off and see if we can bring the knee to about 90 degrees. You don't have to bring it any higher, it can stay lower. And then put it back down, okay? So from the side view, pulling the core, shoulders stay back and down. Pressure on the palms. The pressure on the palms will squeeze your shoulder blades together. It'll remind you to stand up straight. If you're here, you have a tendency to roll forward. So press those hands together, pull the shoulders back, and then lift up. And you're gonna engage that core a lot more by pressing those hands together like you're squeezing something in between it. And then put it back down. One more time, go ahead and lift up, find that balance on that one foot, and come back down. Okay, we're gonna lift up the foot. If you need to, keep the toe on the floor. And then we're just taking those hands out to the side. Okay, so just out to the side, reaching above, and then bring it back in and put the foot down. Okay, so inhale, lift the foot and let those hands release. We're not going anywhere, we're just reaching and then coming back down. One more time, just lift up those hands, reach, and then come back down. Now, if we feel like coming into star, lift up and take those hands out. And then we're gonna tip that right hand, let it drop, and the left leg should naturally come out with you. So we're just going out, and then we'll bring everything in and touch, okay? So soften that left knee, or sorry, the right knee, and bend the left knee as you bring it up and send it out, leaning. So all that work that we had done earlier with those side bends, now we're taking our balance to the side posture, okay? So before we're going forward and backward, now we're taking it out to the side. Let's go one more time, reaching out into a beautiful star. If you can hold your star, let's go ahead and twinkle it. Wiggle those toes, wiggle the fingers. Only one toe is gonna be able to twinkle. The other one's gonna be stabilizing you on the floor. So just wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, and then bring it in and relax. Give it a shake, shake. All right, these legs are feeling pretty good. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So again, we layer, and we stop at the layer that we choose. So feet underneath the hips, shoulders up, back and down. Take a big breath in, and exhale, come down through the center. Now, if you notice that you've been letting the hands go a little bit, no problem. Inhale all the way up and then press those palms together like there is something between your hands that you don't want to drop, okay? Roll the shoulders back, give me that good pressure in between the shoulder blades, soften the knees, and lift up the right heel this time, okay? Once the right heel is up and you've got a little softness, you can bounce. Then you know that you're not stiff, so that if you need to compensate left or right, forward and backward, you're able to do that. So that's why those knees are bent. Lift up that right knee and then put it back down, okay? So try not to shift the shoulders, keep the pressure in those palms. That's gonna engage the core. Lift up, and then come back down. We'll do it one more time, lifting up and come back down. Now, if you need to stay with the toe down, no problem, but if you can come up, keep the chest straight, and just reach those hands, you're engaging that core. Okay, so no leaning yet. And then bring the hands in and put the toe down. Okay, nice big inhale. Just reach those hands just outside the shoulders, straight up. Good. And then bring it back down. So just notice how your core and your legs feel. This is vertical. Gravity is pulling you straight down. One more time, reaching up. You're in line with gravity. And then pull yourself back down. It's still work because we're resisting gravity, right? We're balancing. Go ahead and lift up. And now we're gonna take it to the side. And this is where you're gonna feel a whole bunch of different things activate when you lean into your star. Pull it back in and put it back down. We'll do this a couple times. Inhale, and then exhale, lengthen. Ooh, I'm gonna lose it today. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale into that star. Inhale and exhale. If you want to hold and twinkle, this is where we're going to go. Lift up, hold out, find that balance. And if you have, wiggle fingers and that right toe. Give it a little wiggle, 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 wiggle. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release it down. Even the shoulders are working in star pose. Give it a little bit of a shake here. Take a big inhale all the way up. Exhale. One more time, big inhale, rising all the way up. And exhale. We're gonna forward fold this one down, so walk down the body to support or float down, however you wanna get down to the floor. All right, now that we're on the floor, I like to use a block at this point, so if you have a block around, we're just gonna do our twists. So you can have your block a little bit higher, so again, we can keep those knees soft, we're not straining the back, and we're just going to allow our right hand to stay on the block. We're gonna slide up your hand, cross your shoulders and your chest, because this is gonna make you much more aware of how you have to twist into that chest. And then after you get to that shoulder, release to the sky. If we have a little bit more flexibility in that left shoulder, you can take that left hand and tuck it in behind the back and try and look over that shoulder. Just a couple of standing twists here. Inhale up and exhale, place it back down onto your block or the floor if you're reaching that low. And then I want you to try and take your fingertips on the right, slide it up your left arm, and then once you get to your chest, slide across the shoulders and then reach up into the sky. Again, that is going to give you the good twist from where I need your back to twist from. A lot of the time when we turn, we just open up, and that is using less of your shoulder and your core to twist out. You can bring that hand behind your back if you want that opening of the right shoulder. You can look up to the sky, but it's also okay to look down at the floor or out to the side. More challenging to look up and over your shoulder. Let's release that hand back down onto our block. And then we'll do it again one more time each side. So now that we know what we're doing, right hand down, left fingertips slide up your arm, across your chest, reach into the sky. If it's available, behind your back. Inhale up to the sky and float it back down. One more time on the other side. So right fingertips slide all the way up your arm, right across your chest. It's connected until you hit your shoulder, and then you let it fly up, and then you pull it in behind your back. You inhale and you exhale, let it go. Slowly make your way back up to standing. Our last little relief for the feet. If we've done this one with me before, I don't know if I've practiced this particular move with you before, but it's going to be similar to what we were doing. We're going to come with our feet hip distance apart. You're going to take your hands and place it on your femur on that right leg. Okay? And then once we've done that, step back with the left foot. Okay, and it's big, long stride. And what we're going to do is flip the toes down. Okay, so my toes were tucked. Flip the toes down. Okay, how's that feel? So if you've got your toes, let's see if I can give you a different angle. So here, and my toe is up, I'm flipping my toes down, and you should be stretching the top of your feet. How you get more stretch out of this is push your bum back and press into the tops of those toes. Okay, so if this is my foot, it's now flipped over, and I'm pressing it down this way. Yes, perfect. You should feel a stretch right across the top of the foot. Now, if you're like, oh, I don't really feel anything because the top of your feet is okay, then I got a modification for you that's going to intensify it, okay? So I'm here, I'm stable. We've already done these lift offs. We're not lifting off. We've got our toe pressing down. Our left toe is pressing down. Pull that left toe in beside your ankle, okay? So now it looks like we're in a bit of a chair pose, but we've got our toes tucked under. The front of your foot is being tucked under with those toes, and we're holding onto that thigh. Look down at the floor, and then sink your bum down into a chair, holding onto that thigh and pressing down onto that right foot. Can you feel that? It's really intense if you're doing it with a big stretch in the front. Again, I have my chair close to me too. So again, I always have a chair around just in case you need that chair to hold on to, and you put the toe down and you sink back and stretch the front of the foot. So important to get that ability to get those toes tucked under. This is what allows us to move with those feet in that flowing motion, okay? So let's try the other side. So if you have a chair close and you want to use the chair, you can come up to a wall. These are glass, but if you have a wall, you're just going to take your hands and place them on your left thigh. Take that giant step back like we did with our takeoff to Warrior 3. And then instead of lifting off, you're going to tuck the toes underneath. Okay? And this is sometimes enough for a lot of people. If it's not enough, just sink your butt back a little bit more and press into the top of the foot. Okay, so you can see you don't want to lose your balance. You don't want to put too much stress on that ankle, but you want to be able to use the quad, flexion, 3 triple flexion, ankle, knee, hip, stabilize. And then if you want, pull that foot in a little bit closer towards the ankle, and then sit down into your chair as you continue to press into the top of the foot. Take in some nice deep breaths while you're doing it, because that is an intense stretch if you haven't done it before, and if your feet need it. To get out of it, of course, just lighten the load, flip the foot over, and stand up. How did we do with that one? Did everyone feel something, get something out of it? Yeah, okay, good. If there's any questions about it after, we can talk about it. But we're gonna make our way onto the floor now. So go ahead, take your time, no rush, grab some water, make your way onto the floor. Have a seat. So we did quite a few balancing, which really works those legs. I want us to come close to the edge of our mats, okay? So your bum is close to the edge of your mat, and you have all this length behind you, okay? There's a reason for it. We're going to put our right foot down, and we're going to take our hand with our left underneath the right foot, and then grab with your right hand your right knee. Okay. And then we're just going to pull up in towards our chest. Okay, so I've got the left hand on the sole of my foot wrapped around the outside, and I've got my hand on my knee and pulling in towards my chest, sitting up tall. From here, you can take your hand on your right knee and push it across so that you're pushing your foot over to the left side. And then you can take it and then bring your left hand so that you're pushing your knee over to the right. So it's just a little shove one way, and a little shove the other way, okay? So we're just sitting up nice and tall and just giving some love to that hip. And because we've got our foot in the air, if you can hold onto that knee, you might even be able to hold onto the femur. Some of us might be able to take our elbow and hold onto our foot here. And then that gives you access to hold onto your toes, and just give that ankle a nice little roll around here, okay? Just roll it out. Now again, not everyone's gonna be super flexible, but for those who wanna try it, we were here and we were pushing forward and backwards, and we've released that ankle. If you can get your elbow into your knee, and you can get your other elbow into your knee, you can interlace those fingers and pull in, okay? And this is a version of rocking the baby. So if you're doing that and you've pulled in, just gently rock side to side, rock that baby. Otherwise, it's totally fine to be a little lower and going side to side. Whatever works for you, just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall and rocking and gently side to side. So that should release the hip, and again, flexion, flexion, flexion. Let's go ahead and do the other side now, so put it down. Grab that other foot, stabilize yourself, and then grab onto the sole of the feet, wrap around, knee on the other side, little rock side to side on the bum just to make sure we're sitting on our glutes, and then pull in. Once it's in, press, and out. So really give a good press with that left hand to send it across. Lift up the foot with the right hand. So instead of dropping it down, we're taking it out and lifting it across, and then pulling it back. So the shin bone is staying parallel. And we're just going a little side to side. Then we can either hold onto that leg with the elbow and grab onto the foot, do some movements of the ankle, just give it a little bit of love here. Maybe you squeeze those feet, maybe you push onto those toes. We did a lot of work for the feet, so maybe you do a little massage. Whatever makes you feel good with that foot, you can just give it a little bit of love. If you want to deepen it, for rocking the baby. You can come in deeper or go back to the first one, sit up nice and tall, and do a couple of rocks side to side. So again, getting into those a lot of hip mobility required for balance. Knee is taking a little bit of a turn. Ankle is definitely in flexion. And then let's release it out. All right, the reason I wanted you at the top of the mat is because we're going to now take those feet together. We're going to hold on to the outside of the feet. If the outside of the feet is not quite comfortable, just hold on to the ankles, okay? And a little rock side to side on the glutes to make sure that you are in a good sitting posture, and then roll the shoulders back. We're going to lift up the right heel just a little bit. No big deal, just lift it up. And then put it back down, and then lift up the left one. And then put it back down. Okay, so that's all we have to do. If you want a little bit more, lift up the right one, and then just see where it goes, okay? You're holding onto the bottom of the foot, and you can dorsiflex like we did earlier by holding onto the balls here, and you get that stretch, except now it's a little bit more intense for the hamstring, but again, we're doing that flexion in the ankle. And then put it back down. It doesn't have to look like mine. Again, it can be a little bit lower, but we're pulling on the sole of the foot here on the balls so that we can dorsiflex, and maybe we can lengthen it out. And then of course, the balance. So if you want to sit up nice and tall, and this is where I say you're at the front of your mat, so you've got lots of room to roll back if you do. Now the goal isn't rolling back, it is fun, but the goal is to try and brace your core and find that stability and lift up both of the feet, okay? If you round the spine, if you lose the stability in the core, you naturally want to roll backwards. So what I need you to do is sit up nice and tall and then try and brace. The feet together give you the most support while you're in this balance. But if you want to try and take those feet out, keep the chest up. As soon as you roll that chest forward, you're going to roll back. It's fun, but that's not the goal today. So we're just trying to find that balance by pulling those feet out. And if you can come into the full V, go ahead, no worries. Look at something on the floor that isn't moving. I'm probably moving, so if you're looking at the screen, we're probably all a little moving. So find something that isn't moving. And if you rolled out of it, that's okay. Bring those feet back together, place them on the floor. You're in a good position now, if you're at the front of your mat, just to take yourself and push yourself into the center, grab onto those knees, and start to roll down. We're almost back at the beginning where we were. So check in. How are we doing today? Like how has the practice been? Are we feeling a little invigorated? Maybe we're now feeling the tiredness. Are the shoulders a little bit looser? The ribs? Taking a nice deep breath, relax the shoulders, maybe close those eyes. My knees are bent right now. Big inhale. And then slowly exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. A nice big inhale. And then a slow exhale. Now my palms are facing up. They originally were facing down when I first started my practice this morning. Now they're naturally faced up. I'm going to face them down. And again, do the same thing. If your palms were down, face them up. And just see which one feels right. Make those shoulders a little shimmy. And then we have our knees bent. Maybe you lengthen them out for a second. See how that changes. Your pelvis is being pressed differently. Takes a little bit more pressure on that pelvis when the legs lengthen out. Your hip flexors stretch out. Your pelvis has to start to relax into that lower lumbar so that gravity can pull your lumbar spine a little bit straighter. And again, bend those knees if we're feeling a little bit too intensity. Gently shake your head a little side to side. Maybe we noticed a little tension in that jaw. And once we've shaked a little side to side, let the lips part. And go ahead and let the tongue pull away from the roof of the mouth. Let the creases around your eyes start to soften. Just become aware of what points of your body are touching the mat. Probably the back of your head, somewhere around your shoulders. We're just becoming aware of where gravity is pulling us down. We're very aware of gravity when we're doing a lot of the balancing postures. But now that we're not balancing, Just notice where you're feeling the pressure. Maybe it's in the palms or the back of your hands. Maybe it's in your hips. You might feel it in the backs of your legs, possibly in the calves if their legs are outstretched. Maybe the ankles or the heels of the feet or the soles of the feet if the knees are bent. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Let's move the wrists a little forward and backwards just to see if we have any residual energy left in those wrists. And maybe do a little side to side. Or maybe you do the full circles one way, then you do the circles the other way. Let the arms relax. Just wiggle those fingers a couple times. Maybe ball up the fists and release them out. So any energy that we might have in the wrist joints, you're just going to let it go, and then let those hands, fingers, palms relax. And we'll do the awareness in the feet as well. So go ahead and wiggle those toes. Maybe bunch them in, and then bring the toes to separate really wide, and then bunch them in like you're curling them in, and then separate them wide. And then maybe you take those ankles for a little spin in one direction, then you go for the other direction. And then you just let those feet fall out to the side. Again, take another deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. One more time, nice deep breath. Let it go. I'm going to leave you for about a minute and a half. Just check out those joints that we were working today. The ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, and the wrists. Lots of work in all of those in everyday activities. So just take some deep breaths. Just focus in on those joints, whichever one you might have felt the most challenged today with. Maybe just give a little bit more awareness to that joint. Take some nice deep breaths. And try and send a little bit more attention to that part of the body. in Shavasana a little longer is your preference, feel free to stay. But if we want to start to make a little bit of movement, and your legs are outstretched, let's bend the knees one at a time. Place those feet flat on the floor. And then walk the feet a little bit wider than your hips. And those hands can be out like cactus arms or straight out like a T. We're going to take your knees over to the right side. So you've got an external rotation from the right hip, and the left hip is internally rotated because those legs are nice and wide, or those feet are wide. And then come back through the center, and then slowly drop the other way. So we're just starting to give some movement back to the pelvis after it's been laying flat on a harder surface. We're just gently going side to side, nice and slow. If you want to bring cervical spine in and get a little bit more twist through the thoracic, drop your knees to the right, turn your head to the left. And then bring the knees and head center, and then look the other way as the knees drop in the opposite direction. Inhale, exhale one way, and inhale, exhale the other way. I've got my knees over to the right side, I'm looking to the left. I'm going to take my right arm now, and I'm crossing it over my body. So I'm looking right, I'm dragging my arm across the right side of the body, and then my knees are pointed, my arm is over, my right arm is to the left side. And then I'm going to open everything back up. I'm going to drop my knees to the left, take my left hand across and look to the right as my right hand goes. So it's a bigger twist. And then rolling back. So it'll make sense which arm you need to move, because it'd be awfully strange to move the other one because your weight is going down on that shoulder. And then pressing across, letting that hand drape all the way over to the arm. And then seeing if you can keep those fingertips slide across the shoulders, the top of the chest, near the clavicle, and then go the other side. We'll do this a couple of more times. Again, it just gives you sensory awareness of where those hands are going. It keeps those shoulders pinned down because you are reaching your hands and sliding them across your chest around the collarbone. And then reaching the other side. And if you are done with going side to side, let's just take those feet, walking in, allowing yourself to maybe gently lift up the pelvis into a little bit of a bridge, not too much, and then lower back down. So we're just giving a little bit of a curve or a back bend. One more time, we're inhaling, peeling ourselves off. And then exhale, lowering back down. Just roll onto one of your sides. It can be right or left. Use your bottom arm for your pillow. Your top hand can gently be placed in front of your belly. And then using that hand in front of your belly to start to use your tricep and your bicep to press up as opposed to using your back. And then sweep up the other arm so that you can gently walk yourself up. Again, that takes a little bit of pressure out of the back and puts it more into the bicep and tricep. Have a seat on your mat in a comfortable position, legs crossed, shoelace pose, or maybe have a leg out, whatever works well for you. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, rising those hands up. Maybe we look to the ceiling. And then chin comes to chest as we lower those hands down. We'll do 2 more nice big breaths. It's almost like you're just waking up after having an amazing nap. Body's refreshed, fully and ready for the day. Slowly coming down with that exhale. 1 more. Big reach, big inhale, all the way up. Exhale, releasing those hands into your lap. Stack your head right on your shoulders. Thank you everyone for your practice this morning. I hope you had some fun. I will turn off the camera. If you have any questions, then we can have a